your classroom with typical babies, as well as those children who may be having a language delay, or they're late talkers, or perhaps a child with Down syndrome, or a child who is also on the autism spectrum. All of these children can benefit from signs. So I often get asked as a speech therapist, when can I start using signs? When is too early? I will tell you that it's never too early, but babies can't really sign back to you until they can sit up independently. So they need to be able to sit up, and they need to be able to bring their hands to midline to do many of the signs that we use. The thing that makes signing so helpful to language is that it encourages the imitation of actions. So there have been some kind of research out there, misnomers, that signing builds this tremendous vocabulary and makes children so much smarter. And while I see that there is benefit to signing, I am not prepared to say that it makes them more intelligent. But what it does do is it encourages all of those natural patterns of language to kind of happen. So if a child is not talking and babbling and doing the things that they should be doing, when we start signing with them and they start imitating our actions, then the imitation for speech comes and emerges. Generally speaking, when we are signing, for example, if I'm signing more, or if I'm signing cracker, if I'm signing go, you're using both hands, and oftentimes you're crossing midline, or you're doing something with two hands. And so that engages both hemispheres of the brain, and it builds that neural network that's in the brain. And so that's why signing and imitation of actions is so important. So what are some other examples of actions that you might already be doing in your classroom? You might be waving, you might be blowing kisses to mommy, you might be singing the wheels on the bus and doing some motions, or twinkle, twinkle, little star. There are all kinds of motions and actions that we integrate into our classroom all the time. So signing is just one more level of imitation of actions that helps that child bring out their language. The other thing that we find is signing reduces frustration. So if a baby does not have the language and they want to communicate with mom or their teacher or a friend, they are much less frustrated when they have a way to communicate. So here's an example of Miss Lainey Kate. She's 16 months old in this picture, and she has learned a few signs, and you can see she's highly motivated. So let's take a look at Lainey Kate.
Please, please, there you go. Can you say thank you? Say thank you. Good job.
So you can see from there that has wonderful joint attention. She's looking at mom. She's imitating. She knows that sign for please is to rub her chest, and she knows thank you is as if she's blowing a kiss. And you can see that she realizes when I say please, I get more of this bread that mommy has, which you can tell by those cheeks. She is not missing any meals. But their connection is very strong. Lainey feels heard. She knows that mom's listening and that she's getting what she wants. So there's a connection that's being made in the brain at that moment where she signs please and she gets what she wants. And so when we make those connections between this sign gets me that thing that I want, we're just setting the brain up to be ready to make connections in literacy down the road. So that when I'm reading a book about going to the zoo and seeing the alligators, I also can remember when I went to the zoo and I saw the alligators. What we know about children who do sign as toddlers is they oftentimes will speak at a normal or a faster rate. So they get that typical children, they get that language at a normal pace, or they even maybe acquire their language a little faster because those connections are made. Toddlers are often very confident because they feel like, oh, I can say what I want. I don't have to cry. I don't have to whine to get what I want because I know that this word or this word gets me what I want. Oftentimes the child-parent or child-caregiver relationship is growing and positive. They have oftentimes a larger vocabulary. And foundationally, the brain development is being laid for a lifelong learner.
Tanya?
So here's another, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we did have a request to slow down and maybe show the signs, emphasize them to make sure all the viewers can see them, please.
Yes. And I'm actually going to be doing the instructions of signs in just a minute. So what you're seeing me do now is just kind of explaining and doing the signs, but I'm going to give you very explicit directions in just a minute. So yes, I will keep that in mind. Thank you. So here's an example of Lainey doing more. So another sign.
Can you do more? There you go.
Okay, so in that one, you could see her, initially she was signing please, and then she's a little distracted watching all the things that are going on in Texas Roadhouse. But instead of doing more like this, she's doing more like this, and that's okay. So it's an approximation of more. It's not exactly more, but it's her approximation of more. I have one of my little kids that does more like this. So as long as you know what the child is trying to say, we can accept that. It's similar to if a child says baba, baba. We know that's bottle. They want their bottle. They're not saying bottle, but they're saying baba. So we know that verbal approximation means bottle. So we acknowledge that and we give them their bottle. Same thing with the signs whenever they're approximating. So that's her approximation. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to take some time to learn the alphabet. And the reason the alphabet is so important is many signs stem from the alphabet. Persons who are deaf and hard of hearing often will fingerspell their name when they meet you for the first time. So as we sign, we're encouraging fine motor skills that can later help children with writing and self-help. So the other thing I want you to keep in mind when we're signing is we always sign close to our face, because a person who is deaf or hard of hearing is looking at the sign, but also reading your lips as much as they're listening to the sign. Now, I know that many of you are not learning the signs because you have deaf or hard of hearing children in your classroom, but I'm just making you aware that if you did, the time that you're investing now into learning these signs for working with babies and toddlers and late talkers and children with special needs is not in vain, because if you got that child who is deaf or hard of hearing, this would be a wonderful skill. And all the signs that I'm teaching are ASL signs. So American Sign Language is the preferred language here. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to take you to a video where I've actually done the manual alphabet. I'm using a book to show it to you. You should be able to see all of the letters and get them, and we'll take questions if you need me to. If you want to put those in the chat box, I'd be happy to answer those as soon as the video is over.
Okay, we're going to get started with the alphabet. I like to use a book, something like this, like you might have in your classroom. So let's get started. First thing you need to know about signing the manual alphabet is you always want to hold your hand close to your face. A person who is deaf or hard of hearing will always read your lips as much as they're watching the signs. And oftentimes you use fingerspelling to introduce yourself. So we'll get started with the alphabet. You'll also see that a lot of the signs that we use stem from letters of the alphabet when we talk about colors. So we'll start with A, B, C, D. And if you look, when you hold your hand, it looks like the letter D. E. And on some of the manual alphabet charts, it shows E like this. E is like this or like this. It's just a close approximation. F, sorry. G, H, I, J, and you can do juice like that. K, K is a little tricky, 2 fingers up, your thumb in the middle, and then tilt it. You see, it sort of looks like a karate kick if you've done handwriting without tears. So K, L, M, N, it's just 2 fingers over your thumb. M is 3, N is this way. And ironically, this is no, no. O, P, a little tricky as well. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what I'm doing with my fingers. You hold 2 fingers up, put your thumb in the middle of your tall man, and then tilt it. And if you look, you can see the letter P, P. So when I sign it, though, I'm going to go P. You're not going to see that side of it. Q, R, and this is restroom, RR. S, this is A, this is S. So the thumb is in the middle, or for A, it's on the side. T, and some people use TT as the sign for I've got to go to the bathroom, TT. U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And that's your manual alphabet. So you probably have a handout similar to this, American Sign Language. If you don't have it in this kit, you can very easily find one online. So just Google American Sign Language alphabet chart. I think I found this one for free online, but there's the chart for you. So just real quickly, let's go back through them. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And this is and Z. So another fun thing to do is with your after-schoolers. They love to learn things like this, and so it can be a fun little thing that they get to do with you. And if you teach them how to finger spell, instead of saying, go write your spelling words 5 times each, you could say, hey, go find a partner, and y'all sign your spelling words back to each other and see if the other one knows what they're spelling. So that's just a fun little thing to do as well.
Okay, so don't get too bogged down in, I just went through those very quickly. If you printed the handouts or when you get those handouts, taking some time to review them just real quickly each day will get them more in your head. But keep in mind, we're really not going to be signing letters to toddlers. They will learn their letters as they get older and probably not need the signs. The reason I teach them in this class is because many signs kind of come from those letters of the alphabet. So when I show you a sign like juice, it's the letter J, and then you bring it to your mouth, juice. So that letter J is kind of incorporated into a beverage that might be very helpful for you as you work with toddlers. Another one is water. So if I do the letter W to my mouth and do it here, water. So I might be asking a friend, do you want juice or do you want water? Which one? And so I have a lot of like hand motions that I use with my little ones because many of my children that are visual learners, they really pay attention to my face and to what I'm doing. So when I'm doing those motions, that really kind of encourages that. Okay, so here's an example of me working with a little boy who's 2. He is on the spectrum, and if you watch very carefully, he's doing a lot of signs. Early on, he does the sign for eat. This is the sign for eat. You take, like you're holding a bit of food in your mouth to your mouth, eat. But you'll see he has an approximation for eat, so I want to see if you can pick up on that. Another thing is I'm signing grapes at one point, and he signs grape. He tries to do an approximation of grapes. So I'm going to show you this so you can kind of see how you could use this to kind of just keep his attention, increasing joint attention.
You do it. Yeah, eat. Good boy. Oh, can you show me banana? Banana. Yes. Banana. Where does banana go? Banana goes in. Good job. Did you put it in? Let's do it together. In. What do we do with a banana? Do we eat? You tell me. Eat. Freddie, do it. You do it. Eat. Eat. Eyes on me. Freddie, eyes on
Your
me.
typical kid, he just saw himself in the camera.
Eat. You do it. You say eat. You do it. You sign. Eat. Good boy. Oh, I want you to show me grapes. Grapes. You're right. Those are grapes. Watch, Tanya. Grapes. Grapes. Yeah. Grapes. Grapes. You got it. Are you going to put the grapes in? I like the way you're doing the puzzle. You're putting it in. You did it. You put it in. Can you say in? In. Do it with me, Freddie. Let's do it together. You do it. In. Oh, I like that word. You're trying it. Can you show me orange? Orange. Yes. Orange. I like to eat an orange. They are juicy. Juicy. Look, this little part right here has to go in the top. Turn it. You're so close. Here, let's turn it. Ta-da! In. Freddie, you did it. In. You do it. In. Freddie, say in. Oh, good talking. Last one. Pear. Freddie, do it. You do it. Do you?
All right, so you get the idea there about how I'm incorporating the signs into our puzzle play, and how he wasn't saying eat, he was saying eat. That was his approximation. But did you notice when he was trying, he wasn't saying anything, but he was doing this. He was making that facial, he was trying to motor plan to say eat, but he hadn't turned his voice on yet. So he was doing some things that you didn't see. And then at some point I said in, and he did this, which is on, which he knows that sign. So you can see him picking up on the signs, picking up on the language. So oftentimes the late talkers lack the motor planning skills. That's why they're not talking, is their brain is just not yet able to make their lips and their tongue move independently of one another. And so when we try to get them to say words, they might could say a word spontaneously, but then when we try to get them to do it on command, it's like their brain can't go back to that spot to produce that word. So what we find is highly motivating foods and toys and objects encourage them to sign. The more they imitate actions, the more the words come. So having done this type strategy for 25 plus years, what I know is that if I have a child that I'm signing with, they're either going to sign or they're going to talk. Or if they get really proficient at signing, they will sign about 20 words, and then I will see the words start coming. So if you have a kid who's really latched on to signing and they like it, your goal is to increase their vocabulary and get them to sign more, because when we get to that threshold of 20, then the words will come. So also when we sign, we get really good joint attention. Him looking, and let me just tell you, the sign for more is this, more, okay? But let me give you a word of caution, and this comes up in the next video. More gets me everything. And as I've just said, I really want children to have a large vocabulary. So if I have a child like Freddie who's on the spectrum, I'm probably not going to teach him more, because more gets me everything. Do you want a cracker? More. Do you want something to drink? More. Are you ready to read a book? More. more gets me everything. So I don't really teach more. I teach vocabulary. So I want you to say cracker. I want you to say drink. I want you to say book. So this is more, but I would just encourage you not to get stuck on more, okay? So when I sign with children, I get lots of good joint attention, I get good eye contact, and I get turn taking. All of those things are necessary for good communication skills. How many of you have a husband that you wish would actually look at you when you're talking to him and not walk off into the other room? Right here. My husband does that regularly. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you something. Look at me. So we want good joint attention. We want good eye contact. We want good turn taking. Eventually, what will happen is as they get these signs, the words will start coming. And I often have parents say, but I don't want them to sign. I want them to talk. And I say to them, signing is to talking as cruising is to walking. No parent ever says, I don't want my child to cruise on the coffee table. I want them to walk, because they know that if they're standing on the coffee table and they're cruising, it won't be long before they let go and they just start walking. And it's the same way with sign language. No child is going to keep signing because the words will come. Once those brain connections get in there, the words come. And once the words come, the signs fade away. So you're not going to have a child stuck using signs. They will talk. And if they don't talk, at least they have a signing language and they have a way to communicate. So here's 7 simple tidbits we want to remember as we're signing. We always want to talk as we sign. So if I say, cracker, do you want a cracker? I'm never just going to look at the kid and do the sign, because they're not mute. They're not deaf. They're, most of the time, these are late talkers we're talking to. They are reading my lips as much as they are looking at the sign. Sign often. So using your hands to express yourself. Oftentimes when I'm trying to get a kid to say, pa, pa, I'll say, pa, pa, to sort of overemphasize what's happening with my lips, to get their attention to my lips so they see. So I sign a lot, but I do a lot of hand motions. Always teach functional words first. We're going to talk about the top 20 words that every speech language pathologist wants you to use in your classroom. We're going to go over those in just a minute. Make sure you use good eye contact. Be patient. They're learning with you. And if they have a motor planning problem, it might be really hard work to get to cracker. Or this is the sign for help. It might be really hard to coordinate help. Okay? Look for sign approximations. When Freddie does this, you want to eat. I'm all over that because he's approximating eat. He's approximating grapes. And then they will add more signs to their vocabulary as they show the propensity to use them. So don't bombard them with 1,500 signs. Stick with one and really drive it home for 2 or 3 days and then go to a second, okay? All right, so here's one of my little ones who has Down syndrome. She also has apraxia, which is a motor planning thing. And we are using signing sentences like, I see baby, to get her to say those sentences and slow down so I can understand her. Or I want cracker or cheese. So here's a quick little video of Bailey. Drink. Show me. Drink. Good signing. Can you show me the sign for hat?
Ha.
Look at Tanya.
Ha.
Yeah, hat. Show me, Bailey. Show me the sign. No thanks. No thanks. Show me shoes.
Do.
Remember the sign? How do you do it? You're right. Good job, girlfriend. Oh,
Maybe.
what do you do with shoes? Can you tell me? Say, I wear shoes. Show me shoes. Oh, big yawn. I wear shoes. Oh, look, what's that?
Baby.
Oh, show me the sign for baby. Do you remember?
Show me baby.
Baby.
Yeah, show me without the poster. Show me how you sign baby. Show me. 2 hands. Bailey, show me. Baby.
Baby.
That's right. Do you like babies?
I don't know.
Tell me with your words. Say.
You can tell she's very frustrated here. She wants to tell me something, and she's really big into acting, dramatic play, acting stuff out. So those looks just tell you she's so frustrated because she just wants to talk. And I'm trying to show her off to you guys because she has such a great signing vocabulary that we're now using to get her to say sentences.
Like.
Baby.
You do like babies. Good job, girlfriend. Give me 5. Can I have a thumb kiss? Oh, put your tongue in when you kiss. Tongue in, lips together. Oh, I see your tongue. Get your tongue back. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, now play,
Some
right?
great kisses from Bailey, and they're usually French kisses. This is all pre-COVID. But she's doing great, and she's really kind of dropping the use of signs, and she's more intelligible than ever. So we're going to get to the top 10 functional signs. There are 2 posters along with this that are handouts for you to print. You can take them to your classroom and laminate them. You can share them with your centers, but these are the top 10 functional signs. And then this is the second top 10 signs. So there's 20 total signs that we really recommend that you use. So this is a great thing to have available to new teachers, and even for parents. It's on Teachers Pay Teachers for free if you want to look for Sprout on your own. But we're going to get busy right now learning those top 10 signs. So we're going to, if you have those posters, you can have them out in front of you to look at them, but pay attention to the video. I go through them several times, and then at the end, we kind of review. So I'm going to start playing. If you have a question or a concern, please put in the chat box. We'd love to hear from you.
The next, I guess, most important thing that I want you to leave here knowing is when we're talking about signing with babies and toddlers and late talkers, we need them to have the most functional words in their vocabulary. We need them very quickly to understand that this thing right here gets me what I want. So I'm going to go through kind of the top 20 signs that are the most functional words that you can teach a kid. And these are going to come up in their daily, on a daily basis, and they're going to get them things that they want. So the first one is eat. Eat. So it's like you're just taking food to your mouth. Eat. The next one is drink. It's like you've got a cup and you're drinking. Gulp, 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 gulp. This is thirsty, but this is drink. Now, what kinds of things might they want to drink? They might like to drink some water. They might drink some juice. So that's just your J to your mouth, juice, water, or milk. You just take your hand and squeeze it 2 times, milk. And it's like you're squeezing the udder of a cow. So milk, water, juice, eat, drink, gulp, 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 gulp. All done. So when they're finished eating in the high chair and they're done, it's all done. If they're finished playing with a toy that they have and they're getting frustrated, you can ask them, are you all done? It seems like you're frustrated. You must be all done. Another one is more, more. Now, I will give you a little word of caution here about more. More is one of those tricky ones. If I suspect that a child may be on the spectrum, I do not teach the word more because more gets me everything. Do you want more drink? More. Do you want more crackers? More. Do you want more toys? More. Do you want to go night-night? More. I mean, everything gets me everything. And I'm all about building that vocabulary. So if I've got one word more that can cover all those words and I want that kid to talk, I'm not going to teach them more. If by chance they learn more, then my next step is okay, what do you want more of? Do you want more eat, more drink? So I can just build a 2-word phrase off of that. But 2-word phrases a lot of times are difficult for them to get. So please, go. Okay, so you're here and you're gonna go. So that's the word for go. Now, most of my little ones, they can't do that fine motor pointing. So I do an approximation for go like this. So we just do our hands down. If they're done eating in their high chair and they want to get down, you just point down. If you're holding them and they're kind of creaming to get down, you might say, oh, you look like you're ready to get down. Do you want to get down? And they might point down. So that sign is very, very useful. Ball. Bubbles. Now the actual sign for bubbles is this. Bubbles. You're just making little bubbles with your fingers. But again, our little ones struggle with that. So I do bubbles. And they usually approximate to bubbles. Or I have one little kid right now, he's doing bubbles. He goes like this. So he hasn't quite figured out that his hands can move other than his body. So he just rocks his body like this. So it's so cute, but bubbles. So again, appreciate their approximations to try to sign these with you. Another one is book. Okay, so I'm just gonna put my hands together and open. It's like I'm reading a book. And I showed you a minute ago, open. So there's lots of opportunities to use that word, open. And I bet you can guess what close is. Close, that's right. Another one that I love to use with little ones because it's so visual is diaper. So it's like this, diaper. I'm just gonna grab the pins on my diaper, diaper. Now, if I've already put them on the changing table, it might be hard for them to see the sign diaper. So I might ask them, oh, we need to get your diaper changed. It's your turn, come on, get up. Let's go change your diaper. So once I have them laid on the changing table, I might talk about changing their diaper. So this is the word for change, the sign for change, and this is diaper. Okay, the secondary ones. This is mommy. Okay, so it's just your hand to your chin, mommy. And daddy is just a little bit taller, same thing. So mommy, daddy, again. You just put it in your hand. So again, they like to do things multiple times. So again, and this is in, and this is out. So I do lots of things where we put in and take out because, around 18 months, they get to that fill and dump stage. And once I can get them to that fill and dump stage where they like to dump stuff out and put stuff in, I can really get a lot of practice out of them. So in and out, and we want to do it again. And then wash. Oh, we need to wash your face. And this is actually the sign for pretty, but wash. Cookie. You're just going to take it and twist. Kind of like you're cutting a cookie. So cookie. Cracker. You're just tapping your elbow with your hand. So cracker and cookie. Great snacks. And remember, cracker can be a goldfish cracker. It could be a graham cracker. It could be a saltine cracker. So it could be lots of that cracker can cover a lot of different types of food. Milk, we already talked about. Banana. Okay. Candy. Now this is a little bit tricky, but candy, you take your finger and point to your teeth, kind of like, oh, there's that cavity that candy caused. So that's candy, not to be confused with apple. You take your knuckle to your tooth. So it's sweet like candy, but it's apple candy. And then car. So a lot of kids like books, cars, balls, blocks. So those are some of the toys. All right, so that's the top 20 signs that I teach them. So let's go over those real quick again, just so you can keep them fresh in your mind. Eat, drink. And what kinds of things do we drink? Water, milk, juice. That's right. All done? More. Right? Please. Not to be confused with sorry. Make a fist and you feel it in your heart. I'm sorry. So please, sorry. Go or go. Remember, approximations are okay because the goal is to get them to imitate what you're doing. Because once they begin imitating and they see the power in those signs, the words will come. Down, ball, bubbles or bubbles, book. Good. Who remembers what this is? Daddy. That's right. And this is mommy. Right. Again. Wash. Good job. Cookie. cracker, milk, banana, candy, apple, and car. Good job. All right, now let's go back to our puzzles. Remember, I talked about that the last time. So let's just go through. This might be a puzzle like you have in your classroom. So let's talk about this. Apple. Who remembers? Apple. That's right. Banana. Do you remember? Just your finger and you're peeling it. Okay. Orange. Pear. I didn't show you this one, but let's do it. Pear. You just take your hand like this. Pear. It's like you're kind of drawing attention to the odd shape of a pear. Pear. Right. And the last one is grapes. Grapes. It's like you have a stem of grapes. Grapes on your arm. So those are all fruits that are common little snacks. So that's good. Let's also look at another puzzle. This is an animal puzzle. So here's the chicken. Okay, so chicken. This is bird, but chicken is like this. They're pecking the ground. Chicken. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here's a great animal, cat. All right, so cat is like this. We're just going to take our hands and do like this. Meow, meow. Again, we're always going to sign and we're always going to say cat and we're always going to say the sound that a cat makes because our objective is to get them to talk. And oftentimes they imitate actions, then they imitate sounds, then they start approximating words and having jargon, and then the words come. So it's super important that you understand that hierarchy of how language comes. Cow. All right, so cow is like this. Moo. Good job. The next one is horse. So you're going to do an H, horse. A goat. All right, this is a tricky one. Goat is like this to your mouth and your head. And it's kind of like you're drawing attention to the goat's hair that's here. This is old, but goat. Okay. A duck. Okay. A puppy. You pat your leg and snap. And some folks will even do, which I love as a speech therapist because again, I'm just wanting them to imitate that action. But if I can add the action and a little sound, same thing with drink. Oh, you're thirsty? Gulp, 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 gulp. Always trying to add that little sound to the sign, get them to imitate. And bunny. Take your two fingers, bunny. Okay? Now, we said cow, we said horse. This is donkey, so the ears are a little bigger. And this is deer. So lots of little animals in there. That's fun to know. Another little thing that I like to do is I have this book that I got from Goodwill for like 50 cents. And I love this book because it's color pictures and they're actual photographs of the things. So then I made a color copy and I laminated it and I put a piece of Velcro on the back. So not all of the pictures have this, but I will spread these little pieces out. We'll take them. We'll take all the pictures out and I'll do like a review of vocabulary as we're doing it and we'll be signing and talking and then I'll show them in a field of 2 or a field of 3 depending on what level they're at and let them make a match and put it back together. So we're going to use this book and kind of go through and review some additional signs that will be super helpful for you to know if you're with babies, toddlers, or late talkers. So duck. Do you remember? Duck. Quack, quack. And ironically, cheese. Lots of kids like cheese. Cheese. Mm-hmm. All right, ball. Ball. Pear. Do you remember pear? That's right, pear. Good job. Flower. Okay, it's like you're going to smell it. Flower. Oh, and here's one. Girl. You're just going to stroke the side of your face. Girl. Okay, so this comes from, girls used to wear the bonnets and the part that you tie went under the chin, so girl. It's like you're drawing attention to that bow. Milk. That's right. Grapes. Everybody likes some grapes. Good job. Fish. Fish. Oh, and there's the baby. Baby. Oh, there's the cat. Meow. Like you're showing the whiskers. And here's a little boy. So you're just like he's putting on a ball cap. Boy, girl. boy. Cat. Shoes. Shoes. Time to get on your shoes. And don't forget your socks. Socks. Shoes. Apple. Not to be confused with candy. Remember? Candy. Car. Do you remember car? Car. I don't think we actually did car before, but I thought I did car. Good job. Stars. Star. Okay. Money. Money. Show me the money. Money. Good. And again, these are just the ones that are in this book. I picked it because they're common words that I want kids to know. Bread. Put your hand in front like you're cutting the bread. Bread. And remember goat? That's right. V. Touch it to your chin and your head. Goat. Bird. And rabbit. Remember? Rabbit. Good job. All right, so that's a simple little easy tip, kind of a nice little addition to your stuff that you have in your classroom, especially if you have a kid that's working to really learn words. But making matches is good because then you show that they're making that connection. They see what's the same. They're just still working on getting that expressive language to come. All right, good job.
Okay, all right, so that was way more than the top 20 signs, obviously. And those posters, again, are handouts that are associated with this presentation. You should be able to get those handouts. There's a PowerPoint handout, which has each of the slides that are in this, that you're watching. It also has the posters for the top 20 signs and the manual alphabet ones that we did first. So those are all three of the handouts that you can find. If for some reason you don't want to take the time to get the handouts, you can go on Teachers Pay Teachers and then look for the store Sprout on your own, and you should be able to find our sign language posters and a few other free posters there that we make available to parents and early interventionists and teachers like yourself. So go print those off, use them as much as you want to, because we have them there for just language facilitation. Lots of signs. I showed you the top 20, and then I did the puzzle and the book just kind of as a review to help you. Now, I understand when I was actually signing in person, it was hard to see me. So that's why I videoed this off camera previously so you could do it. But cracker, just to review, I'm trying to stand back so you can see it. You put your hand up and there's your elbow. You're going to tap your elbow, cracker. Okay, so that was a question that we had. Could I redo that? So I wanted to make sure you saw that sign. I try to sign a lot with kids, not because every kid needs me to sign, but just the hand motions kind of keep children's attention. They don't get bored. If I can keep things moving along and I can do the signs, it helps them move. Ba, la, la, la is a great book to use. The Colors Bright Baby book, I found that at Goodwill. Again, I made that interactive book that you saw me using there by just making color copies and then adding lamination and Velcro so that they could match and all of that. The little fella that you saw at the beginning, who was just learning to sign, has learned probably about 50 to 75 words. And he started putting signing words together. And now just in the last month has really started trying to imitate and talk. So I thought it would be kind of cool for you guys to see him today, because the video you saw was about 1.5 years ago. So this is my little guy that's actually gone through the stages of, he got his signs, he was communicating with his signs, we kept building on those signs, and now he's, you know, transitioning into expressive language. So this is a cute little video I think you'll enjoy seeing.
What's Bazi? Can you say fish? Fish. Fish. Good trying. Can you pull it out? Oh, look, there's a baby. Baby. You do it, baby.
Oh, are you a baby?
B.
Say no, no.
No.
Say I'm big.
Kiki.
Big boy.
Kapu.
Are you big boy? Can you say big?
I don't know if y'all can hear, but he said baby, and he said boy, and he said big boy. So he's doing lots of approximations there.
What's that? What's that? Cat? Cat? Oh, you showing Daddy?
What do you have there? A cat?
Okay, so that video actually is like 6 minutes long, and he does some other things, but he's still, you know, on the spectrum. He's lining those pictures up in an arc. He's doing them in order. He has a certain way that he likes to do it. But did you see how engaged he was? He was sitting with me. I was not having to wrangle him to stay there. He was looking at me, and when he was looking away and distracted, I could very easily bring him back in by being surprised or whatever, and drawing his attention to the next picture by keeping that book going. So lots of good signs, lots of good imitation of language. And again, he's at that phase, oftentimes at 18 months, children will parrot what you say. They will imitate everything you're saying. They don't own the language, they're just copying it. I do a class for SC endeavors, and it's Robin Hood, the electric slide, and language acquisition. And we talk about the different phases of language. And one of those phases is imitation. So when you're learning how to do the electric slide, some of you ladies might want to do it, but you have to get behind somebody so you can imitate what they're doing. And that's exactly that parroting 18-month phase of where he is. So if you're interested in a class like that or some other classes that I offer, I'd love to have you check out my profile on the SC Endeavors website and, you know, reach out to me. These are my resources. Let's stop for just a minute. I'm going to stop sharing and try to answer a few questions. I think we've gotten a few questions that would be good for me to answer. So a couple of questions. Are there any classes online for signing? I'm sure there are. I will tell you that generally speaking, I have kind of this cadre of signs that I've learned through the years, and I keep adding to it. My little guy that you just saw taught me a lot of new signs because he was kind of beyond most of my children. And so whenever I needed to know, well, if we used a word a lot, I'd just whip my phone out, go to a Google search, and I'd put sign language for cat. Obviously, I already knew cat, but let's just say cheese. Sign language for cheese. Sign language for cereal. And it pops up, and there's a little video, and I just watch it. And then I just try to add to my vocabulary that way. Obviously, if you're truly signing for a deaf or hard of hearing person, they don't sign all the little words. So they don't sign, you know, articles and things like that. They sign the big words. So that's, but yes, I'm sure there are some classes for sign language. There's the baby signs curriculum that's out. I'm sure y'all have seen those YouTube videos and that sort of thing. There's a whole, you can get your certification for like $300 to do that. I find that just knowing the signs is good. Another question I had was, how difficult is it for a 4-year-old on the spectrum with no vocabulary to learn signs? It depends on how motivated they are, and also if they're having their sensory needs met. Sometimes children on the spectrum have a hard time focusing to learn something new because they have needs internally from a sensory perspective that they need to have taken care of before they can get to learning something academically. If I had a child that was 4 and it was nonverbal, I might try to do signs, but if I wasn't having any success, I probably would move to using some sort of augmentative device with them. So an iPad with pictures where they could touch what they wanted to tell me what they needed or what they wanted to do. Another question was, how long had I been working with the 3-year-old to accomplish that interaction? So when I got him, and one of my classes I have is a class, it's called Autism 101. And it's kind of where I talk to you, I teach you all the things you should be kind of doing if you have a child on the spectrum in your classroom. And when I got that little guy, he was 15 months old, and I literally walked in to a child who was manic. His parents had him in a play yard. He was contained, but he was just manic. And if you pulled him out, he would run to the bathroom, scratch on the bathroom wallpaper, and then he would run to the den and he would scratch on the paneling in the den. And he just never would settle. You couldn't get his attention. You couldn't do anything. So I spent a great deal of time, probably about 3 months, just meeting his sensory needs, getting him to where his brain would rest. And I would get into the playpen and play with him and get him to play with things. And I did a lot of toys that gave sensory input. So a lot of hammer ball toys so that he could get that input. He's very hypotonic, which means he's kind of like double jointed. Like he can move his fingers and like he can stand on his toes. I mean, it's crazy, but he needs input. So I did a lot of like deep massage to just get him to calm down. So for 6 months, I was just getting him to a point where he didn't have sensory need, or his sensory needs were met. Then I had joint attention. Then I had some turn taking. So a lot of executive function skills we spent a long time. So I got him at 15 months. Now he's 3.5. So in about 2 years, we taught him 75 signs and we got the expressive language. So 2 years is a long time, but I'm going to tell you, he is one of my biggest success stories. If you, I mean, he has just gone from nothing to being an avid reader. He loves books. He loves math. He's ready for school. So he's ready. Another question. If a 1-year-old has no language, what would you recommend a teacher suggest to parents? So I would recommend, number one, teachers start, when you say 1, I'm assuming 12 months. Children sometimes will have their first words around 12 months, but 15 months is very typical. So I would talk to parents. I would be trying to get him to point, wave, blow kisses, imitate stomping or clapping or pulling blocks together, or put a stuffed animal on your head, put it behind you, put it in front of you. Just getting them to imitate actions, because if I can get them to imitate actions, that tells me that child will be ready to do language before long. But if I'm struggling to get that child to imitate actions or point or nod yes, some of that gestural communication, then I might go to my director and say, hey, I have some concerns. I think this child might need to be referred to a speech language pathologist for an evaluation, or perhaps BabyNet. And that would be a good thing for your director to have that conversation with that parent. Parents oftentimes don't want to think that their child is not meeting the mark. And so if you can talk to the director and y'all can try some things before you kind of go there with the parent, it kind of prepares them. They still have to make the appointment themselves, but certainly BabyNet, getting a script from the pediatrician so that they can be evaluated by BabyNet is key. Sometimes we have those kids that they're not quite bad enough to qualify for BabyNet, but clearly they don't have language. So if you have a kid that's 18 months and they don't have any real words or jargon that they're using meaningfully, then I would say perhaps contact a speech language pathologist that could do an evaluation for you. We do them in our office for $100, and then we are able to tell you immediately whether they would qualify. And oftentimes that's private evaluation taken to BabyNet is an automatic acceptance into the BabyNet system. So sometimes children are just they're doing enough to get by, and so they don't qualify. So you really do need a professional to kind of really look at the feeding, expressive language, and receptive language. All right, so I know we're close. We've got 2 minutes. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go back to my slides and hand it over to you, Sarah.
Okay. If you have any questions or would like to provide additional feedback, please feel free to email us at scic@mailbox.sc.edu. You can find information about champions and access the recorded sessions and handouts at scinclusion.org. I want to thank everybody for participating today. A special thanks to our panelists, presenters, and our captioner. I am going to launch a poll. This poll contains our evaluation for today's session. Everybody, please take some time to complete this now. They're rolling in. I have one more announcement. This is really important for those of you who've attended by phone. If you have joined us today by phone and you are seeking child care training credit and or CEUs, we need you to email us your name, the session you attended, and the phone number you used to attend to scic@mailbox.sc.edu. So that's your name, the phone number you used to attend today, and the name of the session. By doing that, we can assure that we can apply the correct hour to you. And we're at 85%. Trying to get that 100 mark. I get 94%. If you would like to contact Tanya, her email address is tonyA.hayes@gmail.com. 97. Oh, and we're at 100. Thanks again. One more time, if you joined by phone, please email your name, the session you attended, and your phone number to us so we can make sure that you get your hour of credit. Thank you all, and I hope everybody has a good day. Bye.